Son of a Night Fury. Written by Dragonfan 101. Chapter 7. Forbidden Friendship. After Stoic and a ton of other Vikings had left Brook to go out on a hunt for the dragon's nest again, they started heading to a border of clouds that made it very hard to sail through for most. It was one of the main things that's been on their maps for centuries. It was where the dragons who were attacking them all were, and if they destroy it for good, then Brook would finally be free of this war. Stoic and a ton of other Vikings were looking over the map as they were approaching the border in Helheim's Gate. It was not too far from where they were, and Stoic could feel how close they were. I can almost smell them. They're close. Steady. Stoic ordered as 3 of their ships were sailing by the border into dangerous territory, but even with a risk, Stoic had faith they could find it this time. Take us in to Helheim's Gate. Stoic ordered with a serious look, which made the Vikings start turning the ships into the dangerous border that started covering up each of their ships until there was nothing but an empty silence. Everything was quiet for only a few moments, but large blasts and the roars of a large dragon had appeared within the border, and loud screeches could be heard from it as we'd cut to the next training session Hiccup and the other kids were going through. Hiccup still had many questions on what info there is on Night Furies, and that other dragon he saw there was little info on the Night Fury, and none on the other dragon. He was too caught up in this point, he hadn't been paying attention to their current lesson while he was talking to Gobber. Hey, I just so happened to notice the book had nothing on Night Freeze. Is there like a sequel, maybe a pamphlet? Or anything on a dragon with a purple and emerald color? Hiccup asked before he suddenly screamed after nearly being hit with a fire blast which torched his axe. Focus, Hiccup. You're not even trying. Gobber ordered, which made Hiccup start running through a setup maze for them as a deadly netter was their challenge for today. Today is all about attack. Netters are quick and light on their feet. Your job is to be quicker and lighter. Gobber instructed as Hiccup and the other students were running through the maze to try and avoid it, but the thing was really fast, and was able to find most of them really quickly. The netter raised up its tail and sprouted out some sharp spikes from it before it threw it at Fischlgs, who screamed from barely being hit with them. I'm really beginning to question your teaching methods. Fischlgs shouted while he blocked a few of them with his shield. Look for its blind spot. Every dragon has one. Find it, hide in it, then strike. Gobber instructed as the netter came face to face with the twins, who were trying to find a way around it, but Ruffin smelled something really awful right next to her. Ugh, do you ever bathe? Ruffin asked with disgust, which made Tuffin more upset at hearing it. If you don't like it, how about I give you your own blind spot? Tuffin countered while glaring at her. How about I give you one? Tuffin threatened while they bashed against each other's helmets, but the sound of the dragon's roar scared them both, and they both quickly ran away as it shot some super hot fire at them which they barely avoided. Blind spot yes, deaf spot not so much. Gobber joked to himself as the kids ran past him, which made Hiccup start asking questions again. Hey so how would one sneak up on a Night Fury? Hiccup asked again, which annoyed Gobber a bit. No one's ever met one, and lived to tell the tale. Now get in there. Gobber ordered, making Hiccup back up a bit. I know, but hypothetically, Hiccup said nervously before he looked at the other kids who were ducking under one of the walls, Astrid motioning Hiccup to get down as the netter was super close to finding them. Astrid took a deep breath before she quickly rolled out of the way, followed by Snortlet doing it without being seen too, but when Hiccup tried it, he failed at it, which made the netter notice them, and began chasing them again. Hiccup screamed as the dragon got onto the top walls again and began chasing them all again, and as Astrid was about to strike first, Snortlet got in his way to handle it. Hey! Astrid said with annoyance as he stood in front of it. Watch out, babe, I'll take care of this. Snortlet said confidently as he tried throwing his mace at it, which missed extremely poorly, even making the netter laugh at him mockingly for it while he looked shocked. The sun was in my eyes, Astrid, Snortlet said in defense before they screamed again after barely avoiding more fire from it. What do you want me to do, block out the sun? I can do that, but I don't have the time. Snortlet shouted as they were running all over the arena as the netter chased them at extremely fast speeds while Hiccup was still talking with Gobber. The netter crashed into the wall. Did the kids turn around, and that started making the entire maze tumble down the longer it kept chasing them. Has anyone ever seen one napping? Hiccup asked again while everyone ran past him, even making Gobber notice something from above. Hiccup! Gobber shouted while pointing to the walls just above him. He gasped with surprise as he saw Astrid trying to jump over the walls from the netter chasing her, but as she jumped off the last one falling down, she unfortunately began falling right to Hiccup. Hiccup! Astrid screamed before she crashed into him, making her axe be stuck in his shield while the twins watched this and found it hilarious with the position they're in. Ooh, love on the battlefield, Tuffin said jokingly while Astrid tried getting off him. She can do better, Tuffin replied while she tried pulling the axe out of his shield. Let me. Why don't you? Ah! Hiccup shouted as she pushed him down to make him drop his shield, and she grabbed the tip of her axe while it was still in the shield, and after seeing the Negger run towards them, and Astrid screamed as she swung the axe with all her strength and shattered the shield on the Negger's face, making it grumble with pain a bit, finally making it walk away. Well done, Astrid. Gabber complimented as she breathed heavily and looked towards Hiccup, who was still in shock of it. Is this some kind of a joke to you? Our parents' war is about to become ours. Figure out which side you're on. Astrid informed before she started to leave with the others, leaving Hiccup to get an idea that could hopefully let him see the two dragons closer than last time. A few hours after that, Hiccup went back to the grove he saw the dragons in before. He had an idea that could hopefully let them trust him some more. He wanted to try and see more of what they're like. As he slowly looked around the place, not seeing them anywhere, he tried going through a small entrance with only a shield and some fish for them, but he unfortunately got stuck in it thanks to his shield, and he just sighed in frustration and went under it, only holding out 2 fish for them. Hiccup slowly walked around the place, keeping his guard up as he was looking for the two, and while he wasn't looking, they were hiding a much larger rock after they saw him come back, both concerned on what to do. What is he doing here again? Spike whispered to his dad while he peeked around the corner of the rock and saw him walk a good distance ahead of them. His father looked a bit concerned about this too, but he could see he was carrying fish, possibly for them, and he didn't see any weapons on him either. Maybe he comes in peace this time. No one's with him. And he doesn't have the weapon, he replied while Spike raised an eyebrow seeing it, getting a strange idea from it. Maybe he wants to just talk with us. Or try and earn our trust. Spike suggested while he stayed on all fours from this. It's possible. But if he really does, don't say a word to him until we know for sure, okay? He asked, which Spike understood perfectly. Got it. Spike replied before they started climbing over the rock they were hiding behind. Hiccup still looked round for the two of them, but when he heard 2 growls from behind him, he gasped with some fear as he saw the 2 large dragons climb over the rock and come to him on all fours. Spike was keeping his guard up in case he tried anything. He's been trying to keep his father safe ever since he lost the ability to fly, and he's not gonna let anything worse happen. But he could see that boy meant no harm. He carried nothing that could harm them from what they see so far, and only held out 2 fish for them both. They stayed on all fours and growled a bit while marching to him, and Hiccup tried keeping calm on what to do. He held out the 2 fish with both his hands to show he isn't here to harm them, and being the most curious, the Night Fury was the one who started coming closer first, but as he was about to try and take one, he suddenly noticed something and growled with anger seeing it, and they saw Hiccup had brought a small but sharp knife like the one they almost killed them with. Spike stayed by his father's side, being right under his wing to protect him too, but as they stayed still, they saw Hiccup lightly drop the thing on the floor, before he picked it up with his foot, and tossed it into the lake, and that made Spike and his father look at each other for a brief moment, thinking almost the same thing. Okay then. Spike thought to himself before they both sat down politely like a pet wanting a treat. Hiccup lightly held out the fish for them both, and while Spike was the first to take it gently, showing his sharp teeth, he lightly took it from Hiccup and ate the thing in one whole bite, and it actually was pretty good to his surprise. Huh. That was pretty good actually. Spike thought with some surprise as he saw his father going next, opening its one showing its mouth had no teeth. Huh. Toothless. Could have sworn you had. Hiccup said right before he showed his teeth which could retract in and out before he suddenly jumped in and ate it in just a few bites, licking the rest of the taste of his mouth. Toothless. That actually sounds like a good name. Heck, any name will work for Dad at this point. Spike thought to himself, thinking the name really works for him. Hiccup got really nervous as he saw the Night Fury come closer to him while Spike just watched. He had an idea on what he was going to do, and got a bit disgusted thinking about it, since he's had to do it a couple times before too. I don't have any more. Hiccup said nervously while he was pinned to the wall, but from what sounded like a small gag from it suddenly began to cough up something, and to both their disgust, he coughed up a half-eaten part of the fish that Hiccup just gave him. Dad. Seriously? Spike thought with disgust while he walked up beside him and watched the boy in front of them. Hiccup was just as disgusted with seeing this, but knowing it may be the only way to earn some of their trust, he had to try it himself. Hiccup picked up the half-eaten fish and nervously brought it closer, the 2 dragons watching him as he hesitantly took one bite from it, making Spike gag a bit seeing it. Hiccup tried to pretend he liked it, but when the Night Fury made a swallowing noise, Hiccup unfortunately realized it, and tried to swallow it too without puking, and after he finally did, he groaned in disgust from it, but that at least showed them something important from him. Hiccup started to smile a bit nervously again after he had just finished it, both dragons seeing it and trying to follow it too, while Spike gave off a normal-looking smile which Hiccup easily could see. The Night Fury gave him a bit of a toothless smile, and Hiccup began to lightly walk up to them, raising his palm towards the Night Fury a bit, which made the Night Fury growl again before he finally left them alone. Spike looked at Hiccup one more time and felt a level of trust growing from seeing him, and after a few seconds, he soon followed after his father again. Spike made his way to his father, feeling like calling him Toothless is for the better. He started to come close to him as Toothless breathed fire on the ground and circled around it to keep it warm for them to sleep, and Spike slowly curled up next to him to try and sleep too. He's done this many nights over the years with his father, and it helped them both feel more comfortable while they slept. But as they tried to sleep, after they saw a bird fly away from its nest, they noticed Hiccup was sitting a good distance away from them, making Spike roll his eyes while Toothless covered him with his wing, and they turned away for a little privacy. But that gave Hiccup a bit of a better chance to see Toothless's tail fin. He could see it was really missing unfortunately, and as he tried reaching out to it, Toothless moved his tail back revealing they were both glaring at him a bit, and that made Hiccup start backing up too while they went somewhere else to rest. Spike had an idea on what this boy was trying to do, and the more he saw what he was doing, he started seeing he had a good heart. Even if he almost killed them before, he let them go, and they'd been trying to live on since, and maybe with enough time, they could become friends with him. Around an hour passed after that moment. The sun was setting a bit more to show it's getting late, but while Spike was resting on a tree near his dad upside down, which was a neat little trick he was shown over time, they could see the boy near the lake. He had a stick and was drawing something on the ground, almost like how Spike does it. Spike smiled a bit before he and Toothless climbed down and went over to him, his father making a small purr while they saw what he was doing, and they could see the boy drawing what looked like a picture of both of them, getting the detail from their head shape and eyes to near perfection, and Spike smiled at even more seeing how well done it was. After the boy finished up with his little drawing, Spike held out his claw to try it himself. Curious about it, Hiccup handed the stick to him making Spike get an idea, and as he went a bit farther to the right, Hiccup was surprised to see the dragon draw an almost perfect image of himself too, him giving a little smile while showing great skill, making Hiccup see this dragon as an artist in some way. Hiccup laughed a bit with surprise seeing that, and Spike soon smiled back at him after they finished, and getting an idea himself, Toothless started walking back to get something. Spike had an idea on what he was doing. After looking at Hiccup again, he quickly walked a bit away for his father to do his thing. While Hiccup was confused for a moment, he soon saw Toothless take a giant tree branch with his mouth to try and do what he does. Toothless started drawing many lines that curved all around the rock he was sitting on, making areas that could be walked through. Spike knows what he's doing since he did this with his dad all the time as a child. After quite a lot of circling around, making the lines cross each other and making a very large drawing of it, Toothless soon stopped and made a soft growl as they saw Hiccup was surrounded by a large drawing consisting of large lines scribbled around and crossed over each other. Hiccup started to get up and wondered a bit on what he meant, but as he was stepping onto one of the lines drawn, Toothless suddenly started growling in a scary way which startled Hiccup a bit, but as he lifted it off, he saw him go from a growl to a purr in an instant. Hiccup had an idea on what he was doing. He started to repeatedly step on and out of the line, making Toothless growl and purr multiple times while Spike chuckled a bit more, and after Hiccup stepped on the path over the line, Hiccup smiled at them both after finally realizing it. Hiccup started to carefully make his way through it, making sure not to touch a single line, as he carefully made his way around it, even starting to walk backwards from it. He soon felt something breath behind him suddenly, and looking behind him, he saw he had stopped right behind him. Spike decided to stand back and let things play out without him interrupting anything. He had a good feeling about this boy now, and from the looks of it, his father did too. As Hiccup tried raising his hand up to Toothless again, he only started growling a bit more from it, and thinking about it, he wanted to let it decide for itself. Hiccup only closed his eyes, and held out his hand in front of the Night Fury. He didn't look at him one bit, and seeing this, finally made Toothless place its head on his hand, making Hiccup feel its vibrations from it. Hiccup finally started to open his eyes after feeling this. After a few seconds, he looked back at Toothless, who started opening his eyes too, and after seeing he noticed this, Toothless soon ran off again to do his own thing, leaving Spike and Hiccup alone. Spike and Hiccup looked at each other for a few moments, not saying anything to each other, but while Hiccup felt like he should just leave, Spike felt like they should clear some stuff up. He knows he saw him talking with Toothless the last time he was here, and before Hiccup started to leave while turned away from him, Spike finally started speaking again. "Quite the day for you, huh?" Spike spoke, which made Hiccup stop in his tracks. He turned back to Spike with a look of shock. That voice came from right behind him, from this dragon. He thought he saw him talking before, and now it was clear as day. "Why? You can talk." Hiccup asked with shock while Spike walked up to him, coughing a bit before finally showing he can indeed speak. Yes, I can. I know it's completely shocking, I'm sure, but before you go up and ask me about how I can, to answer it for you, I don't know either. Me and my dad don't know, it's just been like this since I was born. Spike answered for him before Hiccup even asked it. Hiccup was in complete shock that there was a talking dragon in front of him. He never thought such a thing was possible, but after seeing how different he was from other dragons, it made him question many things even after that. You mean you were raised by him? Hiccup questioned while looking at the Night Fury far in the distance, and not wanting him to see this, Spike decided they needed to talk somewhere else. I'll explain a bit more later, come on, I'll show you out of the grove. Spike insisted as he helped Hiccup out of the place so they could talk without Toothless seeing it, and Spike already had a feeling he knew he was talking with him now. Spike brought Hiccup to the forest just ahead of them so they can talk, Hiccup having so many questions on how this is possible, and Spike not wanting him to freak out of it. I still don't understand it. How are you able to talk? What kind of dragon are you? Hiccup questioned again while Spike landed down and started standing up on two legs again to show his differences. That's something me or my father don't know. It's been one of the biggest mysteries for us for years. There's things we don't know, and I don't think we'll find out for years at this point. Spike said regretfully as he looked at Hiccup, who looked like he was trying his best not to faint from the shock. Okay, so let me get this straight. You are raised under him, but neither of you know why or how you're able to walk and talk like me and other Vikings. Hiccup asked as he looked like he was freaking out a bit. Yes. Spike replied with a blunt tone since he was asked this multiple times before, making Hiccup question even more than before. Okay. As if this day wasn't already strange enough. Now I'm talking with an actual dragon. Is this some kind of sick prank from the gods or something? Hiccup questioned as this hasn't happened within Viking or dragon history with what he knows. Spike only shook his head at that, and he knew that freaking out about it won't help. No one knows right now, but I'm wanting to make the most of it. Can we just start with introductions first? My name is Spike, and you are? Spike asked, wanting to hear his name next. Hiccup. Hiccup answered, which Spike found to be a strange name, but he isn't one to judge from it. Okay then Hiccup, I hope you don't mind me asking this, but why did you give us fish like that earlier? Or all we saw you did previously? What were you trying to do? Spike questioned while he sat down on a rock, and Hiccup tried his best to find a way to answer it. I was just trying to earn your guys' trust. I saw you were both having it really rough and I just wanted to help you, and after seeing your father the missing tail thing, I just wanted to try and find a way to help. Hiccup said regretfully, which showed Spike this boy really was honest. If he was able to earn his father's trust from it, then he has his too. It's okay Hiccup, I've been doing what I can to help my dad recover, but there's very little I can do. If you're wanting to help us, I'm wanting to take what help we can get. Spike replied while Hiccup was a bit surprised hearing it. Really? Are you willing to trust me to help? Hiccup asked as Spike looked at him with a straight face. If I didn't trust you, I wouldn't be speaking with you right now. My father and I have been on our own for so many years. We didn't think we'd experience an act of kindness from anyone. After what happened in that village, I thought it was just how it will always be, kill or be killed. But when you let us go, that's when I felt something different from you, and I think my dad's felt it too. If you're wanting to help, just try not to break his trust, okay? Spike asked hopefully while Hiccup was getting up, seeing it's pretty late by now. Okay then. Hiccup said nervously while they stayed silent for a few moments, and Spike saw he should get home before it's too late for him. If you're gonna head back home, you'd best do it now. It's more dangerous out in this forest at night. Me and my dad will be fine, but you should get going. I'll even guide you back if you'd like. Spike offered, which surprised Hiccup a bit. Oh no thanks. I can get there myself, but I was hoping to ask if I were to come back tomorrow or whenever I can. You and your father won't mind it, right? Hiccup asked hopefully while Spike walked past him a bit. I won't mind it after what you did for us today, but if you want my advice, try bringing some fish or something for us to eat. I know this is extremely strange for the both of us, but I'm sure with proper time and planning it out, we'll figure out what to do. Spike replied, which sounded good to Hiccup. Okay then. Thanks. Hiccup replied as he was about to leave, but Spike wanted to tell him one more thing before he did. Despite how sudden it was for him, he wanted to at least thank him. Hey, Hiccup. Thanks for sparring me and my dad. We only had Beaker to look after, and we're all we have. We didn't want to be a part of that village raid a few nights back. We'd never go that far after all the time we've spent together, and I just hope you understand that. Spike thanked, which made Hiccup stop a bit before he looked back at him, and felt really bad for it. It's okay. I'm sorry about all of it too. I promise I'll help find a way to fix this. Just try to stay safe until then, okay? Hiccup asked while Spike started to turn back to the grove. Alright Hiccup, you too, thanks. Spike said thankfully as he spread his wings and took off back to his grove to rest for the night. While he was still wondering if it was too soon for him to reveal he can talk, he hoped it would help them grow closer as possible friends in the future, and as Hiccup looked back one last time, he hoped he could find a way to help, and he soon went back to his village to figure it out. After he took a while to get back to the village, the sun had already set after a long day. He had a lot to think about after learning a bit more about Spike and how he can speak, and what he gained with Toothless back there. It could be a first step to something great, and he needed to be as careful as he could with it. Hiccup soon met up with the other kids and Godber again for dinner. They were eating some meat by a fireplace after the sky was dark, and most of the village was asleep, and Godber was telling a gruesome story about how he lost both his arm and leg, and then with one twist, he took my hand and swallowed it whole. Godber went on as all the kids were watching with shock with how brutal that sounded. I saw the look on his face. I was delicious. And he must have spread the word, because it wasn't a month before another one of them took my leg. Godber finished while he showed them his replacement leg, amazing all of them. Isn't it weird to think that if your hand was inside a dragon, and if your mind was still in control of it, maybe you could kill it from the inside by crushing its heart or something? Fischlks theorized while Snortbit looked really angry as he ate his food too. I swear I am so angry right now. I'll avenge your beautiful hand, and your beautiful foot. I'll chop off the legs of every dragon I fight, with my face. Snortbit swore as Godber really enjoyed the chicken he was having. No, it's the wings and the tails you really should get. A downed dragon is a dead dragon. Godber explained, which made Hiccup realize something important for Toothless hearing it. Godber soon finished up his food and yawned tiredly after how late it was. It's been a long day for them all, and he knew they should get some rest. Alright, I'm off to bed, you should be too. Tomorrow we'll get to the big boys. Slowly, but surely, be making our way up to the monstrous nightmare. But who will win the honor of killing it? Godber asked, which made everyone excited to face it. It's gonna be me, it's my destiny. See? Tuft asked as he showed them something that wasn't on screen for the moment, because while it was happening, Hiccup started to sneak his way home to figure something out while Fischlks gasped with surprise. When did you get tattoo? Fischlks asked as Astrid noticed Hiccup was suddenly gone, not taking a single bite of the fish he had. It's not a tattoo, it's a birthmark. Tuft assured, making Ruffin roll her eyes. I've been stuck with you since birth, and that was never there before. Ruffin said jokingly, which upset him a bit. Yes it was. You've just never seen it from the left side until now. Tuft believed as Hiccup quietly left the group and headed home. After hearing what Godber told them, and what he learned about Toothless and Spike today, he decided to take things into his own hands. He went up to his desk and took out the journal he had, and as he turned to the page of the Night Fury, he started to draw up a new tale he could possibly make to help him fly. And as the hours passed by, Hiccup used his blacksmith skills to forge something that could hopefully work, spending as long as possible making its design, and using various metal parts from around the place. Using every skill he knew, he soon finally managed to forge a new tail that could replace Toothless' missing one, and he felt confident that it could work as he looked at the large drawing of the wing on his wall. If you guys are enjoying this story, please give it a like, comment your thoughts, give me a follow, and